Okay, this is the last video I will ever do on atheism. This book, Richard Dawkins, I just picked it up because I saw, well, not just picked up, I actually bought this in 2008. I was kind of surprised that it was longer ago, but then I guess this book wasn't out back before 2008, I guess. Because I remember picking it up right around the time it came out. Um, the I had just watched or listened to actually the South Park commentary by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and they mentioned Dawkins because in their South Park cartoon they have Dawkins in two of their episodes. He's actually having sex with Mr. Garrison after his sex change when he's a woman. Uh, which the reason why they had him doing that, they explained. They said, well, he can be so smart on some things, but then just so stupid on other things. Trey Parker and Matt Stone did a Nightline interview where they said they were asked a question. They said they were very surprised by the question because the interviewer said, "So you guys are atheists, right?" And they go, "What? What do you mean? Well, you rip on religion all the time." He said, "No, we're not atheists." And then they asked him more, and he said, "Well, I think it was Trey. It said, well, yeah, I mean, I believe in a god, some type of god, but it'd take me like, you know, hours and hours to explain it, and that was it." They were in the commentary laughing about it because they said they got a call from Penn Gillette, and they said that, or no, it was an email. They said he wrote him he was heartbroken and devastated, and they're saying, yeah, if you know Penn, then he really does get heartbroken and devastated about that kind of stuff. Well, in short, they say something that again, I make all these videos and then I hear somebody say something. I'm like, that's what I meant. Okay. Uh, Again, my main problem with the atheism is not the not belief in God. Actually, that's the only thing I really kind of say, okay, good. It's what they say. They in the commentary they basically call, or no, they do call him a whiny bitch, Dawkins, because they make the great point of when people that Dawkins and Harris are always whining about the fact that uh, they say atheists are this secluded minority and they couldn't ever get elected to office. Trey and Matt make the point. Well, when most people think of atheists, they think of Madeline Murray O'Hair, who tried to get "Under God" taken out of the Pledge of Allegiance, and Richard Dawkins, and they equate him to the kid when you're in grade school, when you're like a first grader, the one first grader who runs around telling all the kindergartners, "You still believe in Santa Claus? You're stupid. How could one guy fly around all over the world and get down every chimney in one night? God, you're so stupid." And their reaction is, you know what? We're having fun believing in Santa Claus. Just shut the fuck up. We know. Uh, so many things just in that short. Just saying that it explains so much because if you look at just the ridiculousness of it, okay, you have people who are scientists or journalists. You got Hitchens, who's a journalist, Dawkins, who's an evolutionary biologist. They know nothing about history, and they're always commenting. They're not historians, and they're always commenting on, oh, this is unfounded in history. How, who are you to say? Like, if you actually look at historical texts and how we know stuff in history, how we know it actually happened uh, with writings, with archaeology, all that kind of stuff, uh, the first and second century are, since they're under Rome, they are really well documented. And even Bart Ehrman says the most attested to book is the New Testament. I don't want to get into that. That's already an argument for religion. I don't care. I don't want to hear any comments on it. The other thing is that going around and presenting it in such a way of just whining and bitching at people. And if you look, past, I guess, 20 years of atheism has all been these shock ads. There is no God. Or Richard Dawkins saying stuff like, well, religion causes war. Uh, and somebody who advocates evolution basically is saying, if we get rid of religion, we'll have less war. Because that's what he says. No, people are going to find a way to kill each other. And if you look at the episode that did "Go God Go" in South Park, it flashes the future, and you have these 3 different atheist leagues that are all murdering each other. Again, this claim that the atheists aren't let in power because let's look at the famous atheist leaders. You start naming them: Stalin, Mao. I'm not going to say Hitler because people always, he was a Christian, or he's an atheist, or he's a pagan, or it's pretty easy to see what he was. And a lot of the fascist leaders, yeah, publicly they may have been associated with church, but again, like any politician, like Thomas Jefferson, should we think he was a devout Christian, or George Washington, or Benjamin Franklin? Yeah, you politicians say these things in public. Yeah, yeah, Christ our God and Lord. And then Benjamin Franklin is going and having sex with multiple people in a burned down church that was called the Sons of the Hellfire Club. You really have to take the statements that will just negate the other ones and say, okay, so they were deists. I know people will argue with me on Washington, but you go and you look at just the staunch atheist ones, not the debatable ones where you can say, oh, there's 2 different things. If somebody says, yes, I'm a Christian, and then you find out they say no, you have to go with the no. All right? This is getting way off topic as it is. But the atheist's track record hasn't been that clean. Now, how can I say that conversely to, let's say, all of Christianity that had, you could say the Crusades, or Islam with jihad? In those, they are religions, which again is a useless word. But religion winds up affecting every part of culture. Every person in Europe, let's say before 15, just make it easy, before 1500, is a Christian. That's their identity in every way, and everything they do that permeates their life. Even if that person were to lose their faith in God, culturally, just as a religion, not faith or anything, they are still Christian. This is why I think it's okay for Wafa Sultan to say that she's a Muslim, but she doesn't believe in God, because the total, everything in her being, every last bit was affected by Islam and living in an Islamic society. So yeah, she's a Muslim whether she likes it or not. I understand when people say things like that. These are cultural things. You absolutely can go through life and nobody never needs to know you're an atheist and still just not believe in God. But it seems like atheism has passed that point. You make like the blasphemy challenge or these things like that. We have to make these positive, aggressive statements, or you somehow have to turn on your own culture and say, well, and start to partition yourself away. Well, what if you're an atheist and you think this modern atheist crap is wrong? And I'd rather stick by people who actually have culture and who aren't going to change with the wind, people who advocate values that I advocate. Why wouldn't you stick by that? People make all these whiny remarks. That's not going to change a lot of things. I mean, if you're still going to have these cultures going on. And yeah, atheism, apparently it's making strides right now. But again, just like I said, we're creatures. We have religion built into us. We have belief in God in our DNA. And that's from a total materialist point of view, because we're superstitious. We personify things. We put personalities into things that probably shouldn't be there. I mean, look how we even name everything. We're, the ocean, ships, hurricanes are all she for the longest time. I mean, the sun was always masculine, the moon was always feminine. I mean, this is humans do this. They need something to talk to. This is innate in us, just like hierarchy is innate in human beings. It's just not going away. I think a more responsible thing to do, if you truly don't believe in God and believe that these aspects of religion really are destructive, is to basically say, okay, tradition and all this, that's fine, but in trying to make the disconnect and trying to basically poison it from the inside, make it lukewarm from the inside. Uh, it's funny. I know people who are confessed atheists, but from India, uh, and they don't step on their culture at all. They still have everything, even though it's a concoction of basically Hinduism and Christianity. Vera, my Prema, who went to my church, who's Indian, her cousin atheist. Her whole family are atheists, but when they get married or do stuff like that or have any events, they all, I mean, it's still all the old cultural stuff, and a lot of it has Hindu and Christian symbolism in it. I think that's the right way to go. The idea, there's no God, therefore I've got to burn down my house, take off all my clothes, never wear jewelry again. That's basically what the atheists are saying. Well, if you, maybe modern, some, I'm starting to see some of modern atheism not say this, but if you look back at atheism's track record of how it approached things, uh, especially people like Madeline Murray O'Hare, uh, people say things like, well, just the sight of a cross is abuse. It's psychologically abusive. And there's still people that say crap like this today. The little children and this and that. And then you find out all these people, they're the most harassing, mean, Madeline Monroe was a criminal. Her son became a Christian, so she disowned him. I have never ever known anybody who came from a family that believed in God and said, I don't believe in God anymore. And the family disowned the person. Or even got angry at them. They said, "Oh my God, we got to tread lightly. We got to bring him back. Something horrible happened." They see it as just like they almost want to cry. Like, "Oh my God, how?" Uh, but there's heresy hunting in atheism. I There were two atheists. I actually saw this. One was accusing the other. You're not a real atheist. No, I think you believe in God. You're not. What? How does it get that bad? I mean, do you see here how the atheists have gone beyond the fact that, yeah, there's probably not a God? Because even Dawkins, I think he has a scale of 1 to 8 of being one being a total fanatic believer, 8 being a total atheist. He puts himself at 7. I I have respect for the guy that says that. He's actually being honest. I don't know. I'm not I'm not uh I'm not obliged to prove a negative, but yeah, I don't know. Bill Maher. I think Bill Maher, oh my God, did it the perfect way. He is probably one of the first people who actually, well, Hitchens I think does this too very well because he has total respect for the past. Um, but he's still a bulldog about his atheism. He's like, I love Hitchens. But Bill Maher, religious, perfect way of showing it. What? How is it that these people couldn't figure? I mean, you've had these basically heresy hunters, and they're still like that. The people who are like, oh well, oh well, God bless you. I've actually had people get angry at me for saying that to them. People, oh, that the Dane Cook. No, everybody's probably met an atheist that got irritated for saying God bless you. It's actually funny. Uh, the atheists that wound up getting angry at, well, again, I keep labeling these people atheists. No, we need to get a different category because I don't believe it has to do anything with belief in God. It's something